Hey, 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 welcome to Becoming a Powerhouse Brand podcast. I'm Jacquie Laws, personal brand visibility and empowerment mentor for heart-led, impact-driven entrepreneurs who know they are here to change lives with their magic and build a dream life by design while they do it. This is where we blend soul, strategy and subconscious work to help you stand out as the leader you already are. We talk identity shifts, confidence, energetics, and the real behind the scenes of building a brand that feels aligned, magnetic, and apologetically you. If you are ready to take center stage in your life and business, you are in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey, and welcome back to another episode. On today's episode, I'm going to be doing another Ask Jacquie, which is from Marie. Marie, I'm not entirely sure what her business is, but Marie's question is around her confusion between personal and business brand. She's not sure which direction to take. So Marie says, "Hi, Jacquie. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now, and I just wanted to get some clarity on my next step for my rebrand. I have been building a personal brand for the last 3 years, but I feel like maybe now is time to invest in a business brand. Can you give some advice on the difference between the two and if I need to make this decision for my business?" First of all, I love this question. So thank you for asking this one. And I think this is one that is going to really help a lot of people that are listening to the show. So my honest opinion is when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, you need both. So your business brand is the kind of masculine energy of your entire business. So this is what is going to be onboarding your clients. It is kind of the cogs of your actual business. It's all of the functionality that is going to help you to really scale your business. So this will be things like your automation, your systems, your tech. It will obviously branding will go into personal and business brand, but your business brand is all of the sort of key components of your business. So it's your offers, your service suite, your messaging, everything basically to do with your business. Now, there are a lot of people that do extremely well just by having a business brand. So the whole business is focused around their business name, their business brand, their business aesthetics, their service, their automations, their transactions, everything to do with their business. What they don't then have is a personal brand. Maybe there's someone that wants to be more behind the scenes. Maybe there's someone that doesn't want to get themselves out there. They're very much kind of the hidden gem in their industry because they have a business that might be thriving, but they're not known for who they are. Now, a personal brand is something that I highly recommend to anybody that has a service-based business, purely because when you offer a service, people are buying and investing in you. Now, whilst I still think the same occurs for product businesses, it's not as essential because you can build a very a professional as well as a personal business brand. If you are a product-based business, you can make it fun and you can give loads of personality in there. There's loads of ways of doing it without you even showing your face, even though I do truly believe, and it is scientifically proven, that people do buy from people. A personal brand, when it comes to being a personal business, especially if you are somebody that is leading in your community, if you are somebody that has a wealth of expertise, if you've got all of the kind of past history, experience, your work career, like everything brought in together, helps you to create then your personal brand. So your personal brand is all around you, your impact that you're here to create, your values, your vision, your boundaries, like everything all blended into one. Your personal brand is essentially you. So it's how people see you, how they experience you, what they get a feel for, if they feel like they're drawn to you, if they want to work with you. That is your personal brand. Now, the reason why I say about having both is if you are somebody that has a business and you also want to be known as an expert in your field, so maybe you want to do things like more press features, if you want to do things like speaking, if you want to write books, if you want to launch a podcast, do all of these things, if you want to be booked as a guest speaker for an event or a course, or you want to run courses in the future, whatever it looks like, a personal brand is how you are going to directly communicate and interact with your audience on a personal level. So this is what people are going to get to know you and what it is that you're here to create through your personal brand. Now, what I see a lot of people do when they're building a personal brand is they get themselves out there, they build that relationship, they grow their audience, they're known for what it is that they do, but their business brand isn't aligned, or they're lacking all of the systems, they're lacking all of the structure in terms of actually being able to hold more. That is where you can have a bit of a disconnect between the two. So this isn't about having two separate brands. It's about utilizing both and combining them together. So you can absolutely have a combined business and personal brand. So your personal brand is going to come through in your content, in your website. So on your about page, throughout your entire content on your website is going to come through as a personal brand. Equally, you might be somebody that thinks, okay, well, my business brand is great, it's working really, really well. Actually, I would quite like to keep it separate. You absolutely can. Now, what you can do with your personal brand is you don't even need to have a separate website for it. You can direct people to your business brand website. That's absolutely fine. But what you can start doing with your content is have your own separate personal brand account, which is what I started creating at the beginning of 2024. When I decided to make a move away from my brand agency, Bailey and Rue. Now, I'd built Bailey and Rue up to, I don't know how many thousands of followers I had on Instagram, but I'd built it up to a point where I was known in my industry. But I was working with a number of different clients. And when I first started that agency, I was working with product businesses. So what I had found with building that particular business brand was I had built an audience that was such a mix of people, because for the first half of that business journey, I was speaking directly to product businesses, to artisan businesses, to creatives. And then halfway through, I pivoted and I was trying to talk more to service providers. But what I was finding is my message wasn't getting out there enough. And I was getting a real mix of people joining my world, because I was still attracting the product businesses, because I was blending, as part of this agency, product photography, creative direction, rebrands for a lot of product businesses. So I just got to a point in my business where I thought I could keep going, knowing that full well that it will eventually get to a point where people know me as someone that can help with service brands. But I just thought, you know what, at this point in time, I actually need to focus on building my personal brand, which is something I had never done. I hadn't done that, even though I was helping other people to do it with theirs. I hadn't built my own personal brand. So people didn't know me. They knew my business name. So they knew me as Bailey and Rue. In fact, people would call me Bailey because they would assume that was my name. Bailey and Rue was actually named after my dogs, which, funny story, I was actually used to get clients book me because of that very fact that I'd named it after my dogs. That's something for another day. Anyway, I got to a point where I just thought, you know what, I need to build my personal brand now, because I wanted to. And when I was setting my goals for the future, it did include things like a podcast. It included things like hosting events and experiences. It included mentoring, because I had already started mentoring my clients when I had my brand agency. But I just thought, where I'm mentoring people, people need to get to know me and what it is that I'm about, what I'm here to create. So I naturally then started building my personal brand, and that's kind of overtaken. And I now run my full business as a personal brand through that. And then my business brand is She Who Roars. So that just gives you an example of how I have blended the two. So She Who Roars is my business brand. It has all of the back end structure. So if somebody books a call with me, if somebody wants to fill in a contact form, if somebody wants to apply to work with me, if somebody wants to book a ticket, everything that is set up for that business is all structured, it's all automated, it's not taking time out of my day. And the whole brand completely complements my personal brand. So the two blend together really, really well. So I'm not entirely sure how to answer this question specifically for this person, just because I'm not sure what it is that you do. But what my guess would be is, if you want to start being known for what it is that you do, you've already built your personal brand and you want to continue building that, then I would keep going with your personal brand. But I would also then think, okay, what is the business? What does that look like? What are the business goals? So I always like to have, when I create my goal plan, is I have one goals plan and vision board for my personal brand, which would include things like, what do I want to do in terms of speaking opportunities? How do I want to scale my podcast? What exciting things do I feel pulled to launch? What does my life look like? How am I running that thing? How can I adjust how my business is running that feels good to me and my personality and where I'm taking things? What is this life stage and what are my goals? So that's very much my personal brand side of things. And then for the business, I think about things about my offers. I look at the structure. I look at the automation. I look at how I could scale and grow things. I look at things like, do I want to look at doing ads for anything? Do I want to look at exploring a new platform for boosting my visibility? That is all very much business focused. Even things like writing blogs, all of that kind of stuff is business brand. So I always have my goals for the two separate ones. And then I just work through those in order. Well, not in order, they're all over the place because I'm very scatty, so I just choose which one feels really good in the moment. But that just gives you an example of how I blend both my business and my personal brand into one. So I'm not having to have two separate Instagram accounts. I don't even touch my old Bailey and Root Instagram account anymore. It's just sat there doing nothing. And in fact, I think I've got about 7 Instagram accounts just from previous businesses, previous like adjustments, because when I had my brand agency, I also set up a separate page for just product photography. I set up a separate page for my mentoring, and I set up a separate page for branding only. So I ended up having like 4 Instagram accounts for the one business brand. Don't ask me why. It didn't make sense. Doesn't make sense today, but that's what I had anyway. So that is kind of the difference between the two. Now, if you have a personal brand, if you are growing your personal brand, but you don't have the systems and the structure that will enable you to actually take on the clients that you are calling in, that is where you have a disconnect. Because what will be happening in your subconscious mind is you will already be telling yourself subconsciously, it's not safe for me to take on X number of clients, because actually that is going to mean more work. So if you take as an example, if you have an offer that you want to get maybe 10 people in, but to get those 10 people in, it's going to require you to book in sales calls. It's going to require you to send forms out. It's going to require you to let them know about dates, times, Zoom links, all of that information. If you have not got that set up as an automated workflow through your client onboarding system, and you have to manually do that for each person, your subconscious brain is going to be telling you, well, we don't actually want 10 people, because if we have 10 people, that's 10 lots of onboarding we need to manually do. That is going to take a load of time. Don't even want to do it. I don't even feel confident doing it because I don't like tech. It will be telling you all of this stuff, and it's playing around in your head. So you might put an offer out there and get 1 sale, feel really disheartened, but actually your business brand was never positioned to be able to onboard those full 10 anyway. So this is where it's really important to make sure that you do have both. Now, the thing that I want to share on here, and this isn't like a spammy sales thing, is the work that I do with my clients isn't just about building your personal brand. It's not just about building a nice website that looks good. It's not just about branding. It's not just about helping you with your social media content visuals. This is about helping you to upgrade your existing brand, whether that is a personal brand, whether it is your business brand, whether it is both combined together. Because this is the work that I have done over the last nearly 10 years of entrepreneurship, is actually knowing how to utilize the different systems to be able to hold my business as it grows. So when I set my big goals, I know that I can onboard that many clients because of the automations I have. I know that my brand is positioned that I can actually create that thing or invite that thing in. So whether it is, I would love to get more speaking opportunities for retreats. I would love to do that. That is one of my goals at the moment, because I've actually realized that big events, speaking on stage at big events in corporate type rooms with no windows, that just doesn't light me up at all. But to actually speak in smaller, intimate rooms where people are there for a longer period, where they're really diving into that energy and upgrading, that lights me up. Now, in order to do that, it's meant that my brand has needed to be positioned in a way that I'm actually showcasing that I am an expert in what it is that I do, that I talk about. So I have purposely created a brand, an aesthetic, a visual messaging and tone that will attract that kind of person that is already hosting a retreat, that maybe wants to have me there to do a speaking session. So that is what I'm talking about with intentional brand elevation. That is what I do here. So most of the people I work with have got to a point in their business where things are working, they're getting the clients, they've got the incredible results of their clients, they already know they're amazing at what they do. But what has often happened is they've gone on like an identity shift. that has meant they've expanded who they are. They've tapped into this new version of themselves. But now what's happening is their brand just isn't aligned to the level of impact they're here to create. It's like they're dragging their heels and trying to pull their brand behind them. So this is the work that I do now. It is really blending the two. It's blending your personal business brand. And my background is in business marketing. It's in business brand and photography content. So it's about helping you with those visuals that will allow your business to grow, to allow your visibility to grow, but also to make sure that your personal brand is aligned to who you're becoming as well. Because this is the disconnect that I see in so many incredible people. And I know they're incredible because I've either worked with them, or they're people that have inspired me, or that have really taught me something. And yet when you go onto their website or their social media feed, or see how they're presented in the online space, and it's just not aligned or at the same level of the impact that they are already creating for their clients. That is the disconnect, because you have to remember there are millions of dream clients out there that tick every single box on your dream client list. But if that person comes along into your online space and has never heard of you and doesn't have any mutual connections or anything, they just happen to have come across a piece of your content, if you're not speaking to them, they haven't built up any like, know, and trust about you. And they're not going to, because you've already repelled them with how you're showing up, because it's not quite speaking to them, their energy, to what it is that they're here to create. And this is the work. This is about helping you to really upgrade how you're showing up so that you become an instant yes. You want those dream clients that when they land on your content or your website, or they meet you in person or wherever it is, that they want to know more. They actually want to lean in and find out more about what it is that you do, how you help, if you're the right fit for them. And they want to book a call, sign up, fill in the booking form, apply to work with you, whatever that end call to action is. You want them to take action on it, rather than land on your piece of content, not really get what it is that you do, and move on. That is like the last thing that you want. As a business and a personal brand, you want people to be magnetized towards you, or also repelled by you, because if they're repelled by you, you know you're filtering out people that are never going to buy from you anyway. And that's kind of the whole point in your brand. Like, I want people to come to my content and think, okay, she's too like happy and yellow, and that's just not my vibe at all. She's not like out there enough, or whatever it is that they don't like about my content. I want my content to be doing that. I want my content to be turning people away, because how I'm showing up with my content is 100% me. It's literally showing up in my truth as my most authentic self. So anybody that isn't aligned to that, that doesn't feel magnetized to that, isn't ever going to be the right fit to work with me, especially because I work one-to-one. So to answer that question, wrap this up, you do need to have both, but you don't need to have them as two separate things. They can be blended into one. So if you go onto my website, jacquielaws.com, you will see on there the whole thing is very much a personal brand, but it's also a business brand. You've got my She Who Roars logo on there. You've got me, you've got my personality, you've got everything all blended into one. But the business and the personal brand are working completely together as one identity. So I hope this has helped today. If this has made you think, okay, I really need to have a look at my brand, I really need to get some help with this, I just need to see where my gaps are, then I've popped in the link in the show notes below to my brand audit. This is a session with me one-to-one, where we literally look at everything. We will look at your website, we will look at your offers, we will look at your social media content, your imagery, like absolutely everything to do with your brand aesthetics and how you're showing up, how you're speaking to your ideal clients as well. And I give you some pointers that you can go away and implement straight away. Every single person that comes on one of these audit calls gets results, because they get clarity, they get to see their blind spots in things they hadn't seen themselves. Now, a lot of the people will go away and make their changes themselves. Other people want me to help them or do it for them. So these sessions are just a really powerful way for you to at least see where the gaps are in your actual brand, in how you're showing up. It has never been a more crucial time to work on your brand and how you're showing up, because people are being much more discerning now with how they're investing their money. They are not trusting people so easily. So you need to be showing up as your true authentic self, not just a chat GPT copy and paste job. So it needs to really reflect who you are in your soul and really showcase what it is that you're here to create, the level of impact you're here to create, and that you are a perfect fit for your ideal clients. So if you want to get my eyes on your entire brand, if you would love to use all of my expertise to help you to pinpoint the little gaps that you have on your business, and some of them might be huge gaps that will take you 5 minutes to fix. Other things might be more along the lines of, okay, well, let me help you with mapping out what your content strategy could be. Let me help you to think about how you could just upgrade how you're showing up or how you're speaking to your ideal client. We're looking at the whole brand as a whole picture. So if you would love to book in one of those sessions with me, I will pop the link in the show notes below. You can go and find out more. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope this episode's really helped you. If it has, please do leave a review. I genuinely love hearing your reviews about this podcast, and it just helps me to make this even better and know what content you're really loving at the moment. So I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.